makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
Glenn Greenwald, the controversial anti-war journalist, now turned far-right apologist, has basically had a very strange meltdown on Twitter that happens after quite a lull. I was actually on Twitter today, this morning, thinking, you know what, I feel the internet has been a bit more chilled out than it used to be a couple of weeks ago. And I figured, oh, that's because Glenn Greenwald hasn't tweeted. And the reason he hasn't tweeted is because his husband, uh, David Miranda, is unfortunately in the hospital with some gastrointestinal, like serious condition. I mean, what I'm going to say in this video is entirely directed at Glenn Greenwald. I have no beef whatsoever with David Miranda. I wish him genuinely a speedy recovery for whatever it is that he has. And from the looks of it, like I said, it looks like it's a serious thing. I mean, he's been in the hospital for weeks. I don't know if he's been discharged. I don't know what his status is, but you know, hopefully it'll end well for him. Um, don't think the same about Glenn though. And here is basically the Twitter meltdown that he had, which was basically once again issues of internet censorship. You know, from the evil liberal media against all the right wing, the far right people that Glenn Greenwald supports, whether it's Joe Rogan or you know, you name it. But and this is a long thread, like a long thread. This is proper meltdown here. But what is most surprising was, and definitely most disgraceful, was this tweet. But the worst is watching people. So the worst. This is the worst thing of all the censorship that he's been mentioning. The worst is watching people whose job title in corporate HR departments is journalist take the lead in agitating for censorship. They exploit the platforms of corporate giants to pioneer increasingly dangerous means of banning dissenters. These are the authoritarians. Now, if you are as terminally online as I am on Twitter, especially left Twitter, you will immediately know who the person on the left is. That is a now very famous Twitch streamer known online as Kefals. She is trans. And over the past couple of weeks, she's been involved in a very heated conflict with a site called Kiwi Farms. And if you haven't heard of Kiwi Farms, you're probably better off never having heard of them before. They are quite possibly the most deranged and awful website that has ever existed. I mean, this is a site of, like, if you think 4chan and 8chan and all these, you know, outright troll centers are bad, Kiwi Farm makes them look good. Kiwi Farms is basically a site for right-wing, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic trolls to troll people that they don't like so much that they end up committing suicide. That is the extent. It is like once you're on the sites of Kiwi Farms, they will never let go. They will harass you relentlessly for weeks, months, years on end. And it has led to at least 3 people committing suicide. Now, thankfully, I guess the buck stopped with Kefals. And through a series of a legal action that she's taken, as well as you know, community pressure, she has achieved the hitherto unthinkable of ending, basically destroying Kiwi Farms, because Kiwi Farms, they're the server that hosted them, a site called the Cloudflare, which was very, you know, sort of free speech. We're going to let everyone say whatever they want. Finally caved in and realized that Kiwi Farms wasn't just a trolling site. It was a site that genuinely represented a risk to life. That was the wording that they used themselves, a risk to life to people. And, you know, these are the same people who've been threatening Boston Children's Hospital. This was, for example, Matt Walsh, another famous YouTuber of the far right, who got people to give death threats to the hospital because apparently they're doing trans kids surgery. I mean, I don't know. These people are deranged. Okay, they're deranged, and it all centers on transphobia. Like all of it centers on transphobia. So it is extremely disgraceful that Glenn Greenwald, coming from a minority himself because he is gay, is suddenly acting like Kiwi Farms is a source of free speech. Like Kiwi Farms deserves to be protected. I mean, even the definition of free speech in the US does not protect you when your free speech is actually, causing physical harm or can, threaten someone, right? So, yeah. So what did Kiwi Farms do? So Kefals had to basically flee from the US just because once Kiwi Farms got on her case, she got doxxed. I think she got swatted. No, I think she's Canadian. I could be wrong. I think she might be Canadian. Anyway, she had to flee because she was doxxed. She was swatted. And apparently she went to Ireland. Apparently, and I'm not joking, they managed to locate where she was streaming from merely by the type of door handle that her room had. That's how insane they are. Like, that is how insane they are. Just by the exact model of door handle in her room, which they traced to a particular developer, and then somehow they traced it, that they found out where she was staying. That's how insane they are. So yeah, this does represent, I mean, if someone is stalking you to that level, it is a risk to your life. And yeah, and well, like I said, they finally managed to get Kiwi Farms offline after so many years, and after, like I said, at least 3 deaths that they caused. This is one of the cases. This was a woman who set self on fire in Portland Park. Remember, as a brilliant and tortured artist. So she had been harassed, 31 years old, set herself on fire in Portland after being harassed by Kiwi Farms for God knows how long. Game developer, yeah. So yeah, transgender, became the target of hate mob Wiki Farms. Yeah. Harassment began after it was revealed a crowdfunding campaign to raise money for Sagal to deal with mental poisoning was actually raising money for her gender surgery. I mean, come on, man. Like, this really deserves that shit? Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. But yeah, this is the kind of free speech that Glenn Greenwald feels must be protected. And this is not strange. So I responded to him. Imagine being David Miranda and realizing that while you are going through a near-death experience in a hospital, your deranged husband is going through a Twitter meltdown in defense of Kiwi Farms, a hate site that has caused at least 3 people to kill themselves. And, ladies and gentlemen, I achieved it. I finally achieved it. He blocked me. And, I'm both proud and sad. I'm always proud when someone like him blocks me, because it realizes that you've irritated them. And don't get me wrong, I also block people. I don't think there's anything wrong in blocking people who are basically just being trolls. The people who I've blocked have basically just been people who, like, I engage with usually in some other discussion, and they just become obsessed and then start sort of replying on every single thing that I've tweeted. And so that's when I just block them. But if you're engaging with some other, like if someone's giving you serious criticism of stuff that you say, I think definitely blocking them is the cowardly way out. And I've engaged with Greenwald. He has responded numerous times to comments that I made. In fact, he even challenged me once for to have a bet on whether he was going to end up supporting Bolsonaro, which now I regret not actually taking him up on this bet. The reason I did it is obviously there's a bit of a disparity in income between me and Greenwald. So I'm not sure like any amount of money that we would have put in would have been fair to me. I think I'm close to winning that bet because he's ever so inching towards full on supporting Bolsonaro. But anyway, I challenged him to a debate. He promised he was going to do it and then didn't do it. I never got an email from him, despite the fact that I gave him an email. So yeah, I guess that ends our short but turbulent relationship. I have another Glenn Greenwald story, by the way. And I didn't say it. This was actually going to be the previous video that while I was a bit absent, this was going to be my my return to YouTube video, but I didn't do it. I'm going to do it soon because this one was really amusing. But I'll save this one for next time. But in the meantime, Glenn, if I were you, I'd be on my husband's side. I would not be on Twitter going on deranged rants about censorship, which end up defending the most hateful site that has ever existed in the English-speaking world. So that's the quality of human being that Glenn Greenwald has turned into. So, yep. But he blocked me, and I'm sad. On that note, if you like this video, please like, please share, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.